My husband's work wife proposed to him. My husband has a work wife. They are friends who go out to lunch often, tease each other, and talk about some personal things. She brings him homemade lunches sometimes, and he's brought her leftover desserts that I made. It didn't bother me at first, but it feels like she has a connection to him that I don't. To make matters worse, she work proposed to him to make their work relationship work official. She playfully feels like he's not a real work husband if they don't have an actual work wedding. He thinks it's hilarious, and their manager said it's a fine excuse to throw a party out of their pizza party funds. They throw celebratory parties somewhat often when they ship a product or land a big client. The parties usually cost a few grand in food, drinks, and entertainment. His company is a dream come true, but I think he and his friend are taking this too far. He was planning on wearing his normal work clothes to the wedding, but there are rumors she's going to wear her wedding dress from her failed marriage. She's been divorced for 5 years. I tried talking to him about it. I told him this is ridiculous, but he keeps talking me down, saying it's all just in good fun and that I'm overreacting. He insists there's nothing to worry about and that the work wife thing is a harmless joke. But it doesn't feel harmless to me. I couldn't sleep the night before the work wedding. My mind kept replaying all the moments that led up to this point, every lunch they had together, every joke that I wasn't in on, every time he brought home a homemade meal from her. It was becoming too much. The thought of her in a wedding dress, even if it was just a joke, was unbearable. The next morning, I decided I had to do something. I called my boss and explained that I had a personal emergency and needed the day off. I couldn't let this go on without addressing it directly. I arrived at his office just as the party was starting. It was awkward. People knew me from the last Christmas party and the time I had to bring him a clean pair of pants. But this was different. There was an uneasy buzz as I walked in, but no one stopped me. I spotted my husband standing near the makeshift altar, talking and laughing with his work wife. She was indeed wearing her wedding dress, looking radiant and happy. My heart sank, but I walked up to him, took a deep breath and said, "We need to talk. Now." He looked shocked and a bit embarrassed, but he said, "Can we talk after this? It's about to start." Against my better judgment, I decided to stay and watch. Maybe seeing it firsthand would help me understand why he thought it was harmless. As the ceremony began, their co-workers gathered around, some with amused smiles, others looking a bit uncomfortable. The work wife stood at the front, beaming in her wedding dress. My husband joined her, wearing his usual work clothes but with a playful smile on his face. Their manager, acting as the officiant, made a few jokes about their work relationship and how this union would make them an unstoppable team. Then they started to exchange vows. What was meant to be funny quickly took a turn for the worse. Her vows were heartfelt and emotional, talking about how much she appreciated his support and how he made her days brighter. His vows, though meant to be lighthearted, echoed sentiments he had expressed to me in our own marriage. As they spoke, the atmosphere shifted. It felt too real, too genuine. I felt a lump in my throat and tears welling up in my eyes. The room seemed to blur as I watched my husband, the man I loved, share an intimate moment with another woman. Follow for part 2.